She didn't even look at my son. She looked directly at the ramp, the one I'd spent 2 days building with my own hands, and said, "This is a violation." Her voice was cold, calculated, like she was reading from some HOA script written for robots. I looked down at Liam, my 9-year-old son, who sat in his wheelchair beside me, gripping the wheels tightly, lips quivering. His big brown eyes flicked up at me, confused. He didn't understand what was happening. Why this stranger was talking like the wooden ramp that let him roll out of the house was something bad, something punishable. I knew this moment would change everything. We had just moved into this neighborhood 3 weeks ago. New house, new beginning. I'm a single father. My wife passed away 4 years ago in a car accident. Liam survived, but with severe spinal injuries that left him paralyzed from the waist down. He's smart, brave, kind. But even bravery doesn't help when the world makes you feel like you don't belong. And that's what Karen made us feel. Her real name was Cheryl, but everyone called her Karen. The nickname wasn't just about the haircut. She was the stereotype. HOA president for 5 years, obsessed with property value, and famous in the neighborhood for calling code violations on Christmas lights that were too colorful. The ramp I built for Liam. It was just a simple wooden structure with safety railings. I painted it to match the house's trim, added grip tape so his wheels wouldn't slip. It wasn't fancy, just safe, legal, functional. It gave my son independence. But Karen didn't care. 3 days after we moved in, I found a big orange violation notice stapled to our mailbox. Unauthorized modification. Remove immediately or face daily fines. First, I thought it was a joke, maybe an old notice stuck there by mistake. But then the next day, a fine. $50, then $100, then $150. When I called the HOA, Karen herself picked up the phone. "I don't see an application for a ramp in our system," she said sharply. "I didn't know I needed one," I replied. "It's for my disabled son." "That doesn't exempt you from the rules," she said. "Rules exist for a reason." 2 days later, she showed up in person, clipboard in hand, sunglasses perched on her head like a crown. She walked up our driveway like she owned it. She glanced at the ramp, then looked me up and down like I was some problem she had to fix. "You didn't file the proper forms," she said. "This is not the HOA-approved design." "It's a wheelchair ramp," I replied, barely holding my anger. "My son needs it to leave the house." Karen looked past me at Liam, who was sitting in the living room watching cartoons. Then she looked back at me and said, "Maybe you should have thought about the community before you moved in." That night, Liam asked me, "Dad, did I do something wrong?" I didn't even know how to answer him. I just held him and said, "No, buddy. You did everything right. It's the world that's messed up." Karen didn't stop there. She began sending more notices. Complaints about the color of the ramp, the shape. She even said the safety railing was too industrial looking. I realized this wasn't about rules. It was about power, about control. One afternoon, Liam was outside drawing chalk on the sidewalk. Karen walked by and said loudly, "Some people just don't follow the rules." She didn't even look at him, but he heard every word. That night he cried himself to sleep, and that's when something in me snapped. I wasn't just going to fight back. I was going to make sure she never did this to anyone again. I spent the next few days gathering every document I had. Liam's medical records, HOA handbook, emails, violation notices. I found a lawyer who specialized in disability discrimination. He reviewed everything and said, "This is textbook illegal. Fair Housing Act. She's not just wrong, she's in deep legal trouble." We filed a federal lawsuit, not just against the HOA, but against Karen personally, for harassment, for discrimination, for emotional distress. The lawsuit was delivered to her during the next HOA board meeting. Witnesses said she turned red, then purple. She screamed, "This is ridiculous. This is an attack on me." She stormed out of the meeting like a tornado in heels. She started trying to turn the neighborhood against us, sending letters claiming we were abusing the system, that we were exploiting the child's condition for sympathy. But people had eyes and hearts, and what they saw was a bitter woman attacking a disabled boy over a ramp. Our court date arrived 6 weeks later. I wore my only suit. Liam was dressed in his best white shirt, holding my hand as we entered the courthouse. He was shaking, but he looked determined. Karen showed up wearing a navy blazer and that same smug expression. She didn't look at us. Not once. The courtroom was quiet. Our lawyer presented everything. Every fine, every threat, every violation. And then he played the video. A 45-second clip I had recorded one day before I built the ramp. It showed Liam trying to roll down the front step by himself. He struggled. His wheels caught. He lost control. He cried. Then he just sat there, alone, frustrated. Even the judge looked shaken. Karen tried to argue that rules are rules, and that approval processes matter. But the judge wasn't buying it. He leaned forward and said, "This isn't about rules. This is about dignity, about human decency." Then came the ruling. Karen was ordered to pay $75,000 in damages. HOA was fined, and we were granted a permanent order protecting Liam's ramp forever. Karen looked like the floor had disappeared beneath her feet. Her mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. Then she started yelling, "This is unfair. This is political." He didn't follow the rules. The judge told her to sit down. He didn't. She had to be escorted out. But what I'll never forget is what happened outside. We walked out the courthouse doors into sunlight. News cameras were waiting. Some neighbors, some strangers. And there, sitting on the courthouse steps, was Karen. Her face was buried in her hands. Her mascara streaked down her cheeks. Her legal papers were crumpled and scattered. The woman who once stood like a queen on her front porch now looked like a defeated child. She wasn't yelling anymore. She was crying, not because she lost money, but because she lost control. I didn't feel joy. I didn't gloat. I just looked at Liam and asked, "Ready to go home?" He nodded, and for the first time in months he smiled. We rebuilt the ramp stronger than before. This time Liam helped me paint it bright blue, his favorite color, a symbol that no one would ever take it away again. Karen resigned from the HOA that same week. Rumors say she tried to complain about another neighbor's vegetable garden and got laughed out of the meeting. We never saw her again. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want a battle. I just wanted my son to have access to the world, to feel like he belonged. But when someone attacks your child's dignity, you don't stay quiet. You build something stronger than wood, stronger than rules. You build justice. And sometimes, justice looks like a crying Karen on courthouse steps, and a little boy smiling proudly from his wheelchair. If you believe every child deserves dignity, if you think kindness should always defeat cruelty, then please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to our channel.